Hello, Teaquilters. Today is Saturday, April 12th, 2025. It is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're here for 2-hour live sew-in chat. We're also live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for 1-hour live chat. So please join us on both of those live days. Let's see. Also, if you are new here, subscribe. And then also click the bell so that you receive notifications, so it will automatically tell you whenever I'm live so you can come join us. Also, the chat, you have to be a member in order to chat, or a subscriber in order to chat. That's just to keep the trolls away. So if you're wondering why you can't chat, it either means you need to sign into your YouTube account or you are not subscribed to the channel. So please subscribe to the channel. I really, really would appreciate it. Also, I have a Facebook page, Teaquilts LLC. Make sure that you answer the 4 questions so that you can gain admission. If you don't answer the 4 questions, I normally deny them, and then sometimes I do block them. So make sure that you answer the 4 questions as well. So I will hopefully see you over there where you can share some of your projects with the group. So in the chat tonight, we have Melody Kiefer. Thank you, saying her rent is paid. That means she's already hit the thumbs up button. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up button already, go ahead and do that while I do the roll call messages. Darcy Savali also is our subscription membership person moderator. So she's reminding you all to hit the bell as well and join the Facebook page. Maddie Barnum is here. Dee Branson. And Vivian Calvi. Sharon Lewis is here, in here early today. Patricia Priest, Claudette Hall. Let's see, Kevin the Quilter. Hey, Kevin. Remo JS. Minnie Dula is here. Kevin is reminding you all about the 300 pillowcase charity drive that we're having. We're over 200. I left my book somewhere else, and I totally forgot to go to the post office today. How was that? I had Scrap Club, not Scrap Club, the So Busy Quilt Guild meeting today. Oh my goodness. And I completely forgot to go check the post office box before I went, because the post office isn't open very long on Saturdays. So, and my husband must have forgotten too, because I don't remember him mentioning it. So I didn't check the post office today, but I left my book in my room. At some point, I'll probably go get it. I had it propped up in bed trying to read stuff to see what I have checked off, what I need to still do, things like that. So I left it in there. But we're having a pillowcase drive. We were at 200, but now we have upped that number to 300. I'm going to just guess and say about 213, somewhere in that neighborhood. We had beat the 200 goal, so we increased it to 300, but the pillowcases can be made for male or female, also a child. They are going to go to various different charities. Anybody that wants pillowcase basically can get a pillowcase. I'm going to go to the Veterans Center. I'm going to churches, going to children homes, daycares, or teenage pregnant mom homes. Anybody like that. I just go out and do like feelers and see. I've already got one church group that wants, I think, 20 pillowcases in July. So I already got one group set up. I haven't officially set up, but I had somebody contact me because they knew I had stuff the previous year. So they were contacting me to see if I still had anything. And I said, sure, no problem. I told them what I was doing, and they was like, okay, what do we do with that? And so that's why I wanted the Sean of Ghost Savvy Designs made the little labels about having your own little special pillowcase. So I really appreciate her doing that. So we got something to tell them why you want your own pillowcase. Irish Cell Lady is here, trying to sew a bunch of blocks before her second surgery on Tuesday. Then I'll be down for about 10 days. So good luck with that. And hopefully your other one is healing. I think my mom probably had the same surgery you're having. Minnie Doula is reminding you all to hit the thumbs up. Sue Allen's here. Remo JS is here. Michelle the Quilter. Zandra Odom. Deborah Sims Brown. Sheila Willis. Who else? Let's see. Shelly S5. Holly Duvall. Welcome, welcome. T. Roberts. C. Joy Creations. And Benita Nance. So welcome, welcome everybody. Tonight I'm going to be working on, I had started a couple of book blocks. This was from some pattern that I had, and I ain't going to be able to tell you the name of it. Wait a minute. Let's see. I have torn some paper off, and I was thinking, let me see if it's on there. Okay, it's called Book Nerd. And so I was I've said, oh, I can make a couple of those to put into my Happy Place quilt. So I was sewing on the Husqvarna, trying to make sure it's sewed. And so I started sewing this book block. So I started 2 blocks. They are paper pieced. And so that's why, I started them so that I could sew on them. So I'm going to be finishing those tonight. And then I'm also going to be working on my African Shuffle, the Take 5. I had started a second one because I realized that I didn't necessarily want to sell a quilt that my pattern and instructions are from, in case I'm going somewhere lecturing or teaching. Then I've got the original quilt. So I'm thinking about, I've started making a second quilt so that I can possibly sell it instead of selling my original quilt. So we shall see. Or, I do crazy stuff sometimes, might just give it away. Okay, you never know. Everything isn't about the money for me. So, but yeah, so I am working on those 2 projects. I still have not gotten my hot glue gun out to finish off the badges, but I feel like just making them was the stressful part. So I've got that off of my to-do list. Let's see, since Wednesday's live, Thursday I was doing a lot of t-shirt invoices. I think only one person hasn't paid their invoice. I think all other shirts have been mailed. So I thought I sent out tracking numbers for everything, but you all know my email. Sometimes it tells me it's sent, but it hasn't sent. So if you ordered a t-shirt or something, if you don't get it by Monday or Tuesday, then I probably didn't get your order. So just check with me and let me know if you still need a t-shirt. Otherwise, I have mailed everything but the one that hasn't been paid for. What else? Something else. Oh, and I think I mailed one that hasn't been paid, so I'll be contacting them as well. Yeah, so I think I'm getting close. So yeah. And I've also decided, I try to do things so that it's efficient for my time, but I've decided in the future, I'm no longer mailing anything that hasn't been paid for, because I don't have time to keep track of what's paid and what's not paid. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So if you want your items mailed, you need to pay for them before they're going to be mailed, which is any other business. I'm just nice and tend to just go ahead and mail people stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing that because I don't have time to keep up with that. That's a lot of work. So I think that's all. Oh, that's not really all. I had y'all, I was supposed to trans over my Butler software, and I haven't transferred it over yet because I said, girl, you better quilt this documentary quilt before you do that. So I had quilted a few weeks ago a quilt that I was going to use the same panto on for the documentary quilt. And so I started quilting on it. And I stitched 2 rows with no problems. And then all of a sudden, I bet you 100 thread breaks or more. I stopped counting after about 10. I'm like, it was so stressful. I started quilting that quilt at noon yesterday, and I was up to 3 a.m. determined to get this quilt done because I wanted it out my house because I no longer wanted to even look at this quilt anymore. So, I passed it off today to somebody else. They said it looked fine, but I'm telling you, I was so stressed. I had the head part of my machine open out so that I could, I'm pulling this paper off. Just because it's bulky and I don't feel like being bothered with it. These are big pieces and I won't be stretching. Plus, I made sure my straighter grain was on the outside edge too. So, I'm just taking out some of this paper so I don't have to pull it out later. I already took it out of one. Okay. And then I want a pen to make sure, just in case, because one part of it is paper piece, another part of it, then the next part, the finishing, is traditional piece. I like to pen to make sure my stuff's going to line up. All right. So let's see who else has come in. Hold on. Lenore Thomas, Needle Riot's here. Oops. Sue says sorry she's late. She had yard work. And she's saying 74 days. For those of you that don't know, we're having a retreat June 24th through the 29th, Tuesday through Sunday. And it's going to be here in the St. Louis area. And we're having 5 wonderful days of fun. So that's what she's referring to. We have 74 more days until retreat. So I'm looking forward to that. We were talking at the So Busy quilt meeting today. And we were talking about our May retreat, that we're not meeting this month because of the May retreat. So I have a retreat next month. I also have 2 lectures this month. And if I'm not mistaken, let me look and make sure because I don't want to tell you wrong. So let me go over here and find out. Because today is the 12th. And then, so yes, I've told you all that we have live chats on Wednesday at 7 p.m. But next Wednesday, I will not be here because, wait a minute. I can do that one. It must, hold on. I must not have it on my calendar yet because some Gil had a speaker and the speaker canceled or had an issue. Things happen when you have other people. And so they asked me if I could come to their guild. So let me find the date to make sure. It's April 23rd. So I will be here next Wednesday, but in 2 weeks, I will not be here. I just want to make sure I tell you all that so you all are not looking for me. But I will be here next Wednesday. It'll be the Wednesday, April 23rd, that I will not be here because the guild meets at 6:30 or 7 or something like that. So I'll be at that instead. All right. So I got 2 lectures in April. April has been a busy month, and I still got to do some taxes, okay? So, yeah, it's a lot going on. Let's see, what else? Kevin talking about Miss T says she's nice. He talking about come sit by me. uh-huh. Hi Ray, welcome to the chat. Lizette Zayas is here. Chris Smith Calavo is here. Were you ever able to determine the cause reason for all the thread breaks? My head was dirty. The inside, like I took the cover, the Gammo has a plate here on the side I had never taken off. I took that off and it was extremely dirty. I cleaned that. I put it back together and it was still breaking thread. Although there were times that I was able to stitch 3 or 4 rows because this is very simple quilting. 3 or 4 rows with no issues, and then it'll get to the 4th row and then I have 4 thread breaks in 1 row. I think it was a combination of things. Remember that this is a documentary quilt, so you've got different techniques in it, and people use product that they probably should or should not use, and it wasn't necessarily break in a particular area because the machine was already past the drama when it happened. So it's so many different textures and things like that going on in the quilt, different types of fusible. I had some issues with fusible coming off. It was something. I was so stressed out. I just wanted that quilt out of my house. But I don't know what it is. And so what I needed to do was get that quilt off because I kept sewing on a little piece of scrap. And it's really, whenever I was hand guiding quilting, I didn't have a problem. But it was all the time when I was computerized quilting that the thread was breaking. So it made absolutely no sense to me. So I had checked numerous times the threading. I have changed the needle. I even researched styles of needles with the type of project I was working on. Even though I've been using these same needles for y'all, I've had my Gammo for 9 years. I didn't even realize that until I was analyzing all the stuff. But I checked bobbins. I even changed the type of bobbin. I cleaned the bobbin area numerous times. But when I took that head off, it was filthy dirty up in there. But it did not change any of the stitching factors. So I decided, since I don't know what the issue is, since I don't have anything to do, because I'm not putting another quilt on there until I know it's right, I'm going to go ahead and install the new Butler system on there. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I'm also going to change my check spring on there, because even though it's not broken and it's springing back and it's sitting in its right position, I haven't changed it in a long time. This one's been standing the test of time. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So I'm going to do all of that, reset it up, put on some junk, I don't know what, and just start quilting different stuff. Start with the hand so I can get the tension right by hand and then see what the machine is doing. And that was the funny thing. No matter what I did to the tension on this quilt, it always stitched out perfect, but the thread was breaking. So it was just weird. And I made some dramatic or drastic changes, shall I say, some drastic changes. So I have no idea why that thread's breaking. And I even changed thread spools too. So I got a different spool of thread, but I've used this spool of thread in numerous quilts because it was dove gray. And I've used that a lot. That's one that I use when I have a lot of different colors. So weird. Hi, Lizette Zayas. Welcome to the chat. Cynthia Shades here from Chicago. Carissa Renninger. Maddie T, did you mail my shirt? Yes, I sent you an email. I did have your shirt in the XL you requested. And CashApp would be great. I've already sent it. So for XL size, it's $28 with shipping, Maddie. So, but yeah, so that's what I was stressed out all yesterday from noon to, and I was determined that I needed to. When I got through, well, the last 3 rows, I was standing there and realized that I had one foot that hurt so bad I could barely stand on it, and then I also had my back was starting to hurt. So that quilt beat me up, and in my head I'm like, don't you ever volunteer to quilt another group quilt again. And I think I will remember that. Do not volunteer, because I worked way too long on that. Even if it was a customer's quilt that I was being paid for, I couldn't have made 15 hours worth of money quilting somebody's quilt that wasn't even custom quilting. It was just a pain in the butt is what it was. It was just not being nice to me. So yeah, don't want to do that again. Oh, I'm up here about to sew, but I have no thread because I forgot I took this off. So that won't work. And I just need to find the thread tail. I left a thread tail, but I don't see it. Here it is. I thought I had a thread tail. I was hoping that that one little thing I did would not mess it up. So that was good. Okay. Forgot that part. It should have just regular thread in the bobbin. I don't remember doing anything fancy because I wasn't sewing before now. But the Husqvarna is so good. I do feel like my tension knob is not moving or is stiff. So I might take it into the shop so that they can do that. But I got it balanced, the upper and lower thread tension, based on me not being able to adjust the upper thread tension. But I think I might take it to the shop so that they can adjust it right. It's stitching fine and all of that, but I can't get that knob to move, so it needs to be lubricated. I have a feeling this machine hasn't been used for years, so it can do with a good internal oiling that they say they don't oil, but they do, you know. Yeah, that. So let's cut on this iron for a minute. I just want to press this. I'm working on, I cut out 2 book patterns. I figure if I'm going to do one, I may as well do 2. And that's what I'm working on today. I'm also getting my list ready for making t-shirts. That's going to be May's project. So for people that are coming to retreat especially, I got your orders in for, well, most of you have put your order in for retreat shirts. Some of you have not. I'll bring what I have. If you haven't put an order in, I'll just bring what I have and you can do that. But if your order is in, then I'll make sure that yours is packaged up, ready to go. And then if you need a shirt for your estate quilter shirt, or you can make your own, it doesn't matter to me which one it is. You need that for your first day. So I'm finna make those shirts for people that requested them. So I've been getting my t-shirt order stuff ready as well. So, all right, I'm gonna tear this off now that I got this side, because I wasn't sure if this last piece was in here straight as it could be. But I try to cut so that I have my straighter grain where I want it. So I have less chance of shrinkage when, especially when I'm pulling off my paper. So we'll do that now. Just be gentle. So I'm really sleepy. I came home from so busy a little early today. I normally stay till like 4. I left a little bit after 3 because I was just so sleepy. Oh, it's up under here. I'm like, didn't I just have that? My pieces are so big, it's hiding my snips. All right. Look like it's heated up. So let me show you what I got here. I got these 2 book sides that I need to tear these papers out too. And I'm putting them together to make the book. So that's what I'm doing. I just did one side. I'm making 2 books. So I've got 2 of the left sides. And then what I showed you was 2 of the right sides. So because these may not be exactly straight of grain, I don't want to iron. I want to just press because I don't want them stretching. I ordered from you on AQ. Oh, AccuQuilt. Okay. So, yeah. So, thanks for the reminder. If you all are ordering AccuQuilt products online, please use my link. It's always in the description box of my videos. If you enter the site via my link, I'll get a little bit of credit from AccuQuilt for referring you to the site. You still get to use all of your discounts and points. So it's just a referral into the site would be helpful. I haven't even looked in there in a minute. I need to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of this off and be done with paper. I'm just not going to like do extensive, since it's not sewed in around all the sides, I'm not handling it roughly. Just getting the pieces apart gently. So, and do this one too. Get it out the way. This pattern looks very complicated to paper piece, but you're only putting 2 and 3 pieces together. So it was relatively easy. It was just a lot of paper. So did you ever switch to a different spool? I answered that question, Chris. Okay, Maddie, thank you. Holly says, would silicone spray on the thread be worth a try? Somebody else mentioned that, says that like dry, humid areas, you put your thread in the freezer. And they even put the bobbin in there too with the bobbin thread. And I've just never had to do that. And it was in a Gamma group that said that, but I personally had never had to do that. So no, I have not done that. Silicone spray or put it into the refrigerator like some people had suggested. I just never had to. So if it's something new that, you know, climate changes and things like that, I'm open to it. It's just that I've never had to do that in the past. So no, I have not. I don't even have any spray because I haven't had to use it since I was using metallic threads and invisible thread on my domestic sewing machines. And I don't use those old threads anymore, but I do use new metallic threads. I have not used invisible thread at all on my domestic sewing machines or my long arm. I just haven't used it. But I have used metallic threads on both machines and haven't had any issues. But I've never had to use silicone. You know, since I stopped using the older brands of threads when they were really bad. Because I had taken one of my machines to the shop. I want to say it had to be my Singer CXL. And I'm in there and they bring me back a bag of all of this invisible thread that was wrapped around my intention disc that I didn't even know was there. And they were saying never use the thread because it was so wiry that it was just cutting into the tension disc, and I had to replace my tension guide because of it. So I just stopped using it at that point because I'm like, I don't want an expensive repair bill from using a $2 spool of thread at that time. But so now they say, you know, like years later, many years later, because that's been over 20 years ago. Could have been 25 years ago. And they say that there's better invisible thread out on the market now. I just don't use it, so I don't know. I can't advise you on invisible thread because I'm not putting it in my machine still. I don't have a reason to use it. I'm one of those people that I like for my quilting to show. So, and when I say show, I'm not necessarily saying like I want to put red thread on white. I'm saying that I like the quilting part of quilting and I want the thread to show that it's been quilted. So not take over, but I want it to show. I don't want invisible thread. So let's just sew on something else so I can get that off. These are some scraps from when I trimmed up the book block. So I'm just using sewing these scraps. They are weird angles. I can't use them anywhere else, but I thought if I sew them together, then they could be just a rectangle for a string quilt or something. Something over nothing. So that's what I'm doing there. And let's press these toward the book spine. And then I'll show you what I got. And the nice thing about this, my blocks are the right size. But I don't have to worry about that in my happy place because I can make them whatever size and put them in a place where they'll fit. So I'm not worried about size and all of that. I should have probably reduced them if I had thought about it ahead of time. But I'm like, you know, everything in this my happy place is like oversized anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I think they'll be just fine. I'm going to put them wherever they go, wherever they fit. So this is one. Cheryl Knuckles is here. Welcome, welcome to the chat. Let's see while that's cooling off a little bit. Jacqueline Mason is here. Hope everyone is fine. What do I need to pay for the documentary book? You don't need to pay for those yet because I don't even know the price. But because I knew that most of the quilters there, they're just quilters. They might have small groups. They might belong to some guilds, but they're not gonna be somebody that would offer the book for sale, if you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain. They don't have that source. With me being on YouTube, I knew that more people probably would want the book. I'm not saying that I'm that important. I'm just saying I got a different reach than they got. And so I knew, and she wouldn't have known that. And so I wanted to make sure, because she's only doing the minimum print that she needs to in order to get the books done, because her grant money has ran out. And so I already knew, and it's expensive and time consuming. She's got to pay a graphic artist. So she's got to figure out where she's going to put her money, you know. And so I wanted to make sure that she had enough books for anybody that I knew that wanted a copy, especially a signed copy. Because I think they are going to be on sale on Amazon, but they're not going to be signed copies. So, and I also wanted to offer that to people that I knew. Now, there's 2 other people that I know. I didn't know anybody else. It's like 10 of us, well, 11 of us. But I only knew 2 people. And then other people knew more people. Like somebody else might have known 4 people. So I didn't know who they were. Not like these people, but I didn't know who they were at the time. So I just want to make sure we get our books. That's what I was doing. So I've let her know, because I think I'm at 35 books. So if you're on the list, you're fine. If you want to be on the list, you just need to send an email to teaquilts@teaquilts.com. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, there's a book coming out, a documentary on 11 St. Louis area quilters, and it's called Threads That Bind. It's going to be a documentary coming out in the fall. And so she's currently now working with the graphic artist on the book cover, things like that. And she'll be working on page layout soon. So that's what's going on with that. So look at my beautiful books. And again, I have to put the title and stuff on the spine when I get there. So I used the same background fabric. Only thing I changed was the book cover. Let's just say that. Because I think I'm just going to put them in the quilt right next to each other with a spacer. But now I have to, I got like 3 or 4 blocks that I need to embroider something on. And so that's where I am with this project. And I'm not like actively, currently, supposedly working on this right now, until I need to do some machine embroidery, and I haven't done that part yet. So I'm just going to put that into my bag so we don't lose any blocks around here. I've got my iron block I need to put rickrack on. I have the books I need to embroider on, and then I also made a quilt shop that I need to embroider on. So I've got, I think that's 4 blocks now that need some finishing. But I have enough done so that I can put the middle section with the sewing machine and the row below that together. But I'm not putting it together until I do the embroidery, because I don't want to be dealing with all that weight. And I don't have time right now to do embroidery. So I haven't done that part. So no money yet for books. We Quilt Studio. Did you ask Gamma? No, I did not. I did not ask Gamma anything yet. I have been doing most of my repair stuff on my Gamma for a long time. But if I get everything situated and then I'm able to free motion quilt without it breaking, but it's breaking on the computerized stuff, then I know I have a whole nother issue. Because I don't understand why it's breaking on one and not breaking on the other. So everything's expensive. But if I need to call them, I will. Ellen Campbell is here saying hi, T, and all quilting friends. You got such a long name, girl. um, Paula S is here. Bonita says, I have been thinking about that exact book block today at a celebration of life ceremony. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that would be interesting because you could even do a photo on that part and have a title on it if you want. That's cool. T, when do you put in your link for products? You go to my YouTube video description box and you just click the link. It'll take you to the website. They know from behind the scene that I have sent you to the website. That's all you have to do. When you get to the site, if you need to sign in, then you sign in, but they already got the thing saying that I sent you over there. So that's what's important. Darcy says, I haven't been able to do any sewing for a few days because my sewing room is full of stuff since we are redoing the bathroom. Yep, it always works. You do one room and you mess up the rest of the house. Deborah Holloway is here. T, I like the Scrap Club quilt. You talking about the t-shirt? I mailed you a Scrap Club t-shirt. Miss T, may I testify, please? I love my AccuQuilt studio. Currently, I'm cutting 1,000,000 half-square triangles out of what most would consider garbage scraps, and it tickles me to be able to do so. Yeah, and it was funny, Kevin, because I was at the meeting today. Sarah comes in. She's making bear paw blocks. She needs 16 half-square triangles per each block. She needed 5 of them. And she come in there squaring up half-square triangles. And she has AccuQuilt 8-inch cube that has the 2-inch finished half-square triangles. And she cut them oversized and was squaring them up. If you buy something and you're not using it, just having it isn't going to help you. And so I was trying to explain to her because she don't even understand the analogy of how to put 2 fabrics right sides together, fan fold them onto the die. And you know why? Because she doesn't use her die cutting system on a regular basis. And if you don't get accustomed to it and use it, it's not going to be beneficial. You just spent money on something, in my opinion, that's very expensive. It's expensive. And then you don't use it. And then the whole point of using it is so that you don't have to square up and it gets rid of your dog ears. So she was like, yeah, you're right. I wasn't even thinking I had this AccuQuilt die. So she spent the whole meeting squaring up half square triangles. And I'm sure when I left and when she left that she wasn't finished squaring up half square triangles because she has 16 times 5. Okay. Yeah, that's too much. That's one of the reasons why I like the die cutting system. So he said he's making trash into treasure. Delia Castro Short is here. Welcome, welcome. And Cheryl says, thank you, Miss T. It's been a lot. It's been a while, a lot going on. No problem. My I lost my spot on my scraps. On the, not the scraps. I'm reading stuff about scraps. I lost my spot in the chat. Eugenia Little is here from Philadelphia, hoping everyone is doing well. Welcome to the chat, Eugenia. Sharon says, I like that pattern. Yes, again, for those that missed the name of the pattern, it's called Book Nerd. And I had it to do the entire quilt. But I love that I was able to take something that was supposed to be for an entire quilt and just use a part of it. Now I feel like I've used the pattern. I don't have to worry about making that quilt per se, because I've used the pattern now. So yeah, people saying that the block is pretty that I made. Yeah, and I was gonna do like a bookshelf where I had books on the shelf, but when I was like looking for something else or putting something else up, saw the Book Nerd, and I go, this is perfect, and I only got to make 2. I can do this quick. So I pieced all the 2 book sides on the Husqvarna because I wanted to piece something on it before I put it up to see what the tension and all of that was. Everything stitched. Like I said, I can't move the upper tension knob. Instead of it being like 4 to 5, it's sitting at like 7. And I adjusted the bobbin tension to match that, so it's stitching fine. But I think I'm gonna take it to the shop so they can take it apart and see what's probably some old grease is just holding it stuck in place, so that they can fix it without me. Because I know me, I'll be sitting up here trying to turn it, working with it, and then end up breaking it, because that's what I do. I get into something and I be determined I'm gonna fix it, so I'm gonna take it to the shop before I break it. So people love the blocks. Hey, Leetta Bryant, welcome to the chat. Helena Carter is here. Carissa's reminding you guys to hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button already, please do so. Hi, June Hansen. Oh, she's saying, oh, the scrap quilt. Okay, the scrap club quilt. Yeah, I haven't even cut for that. So, girl, I'm living day to day, like hour to hour, because I'll be doing that in the morning, I guess. Yeah, she's talking about the scrap club project. And Sue says she absolutely loves her AccuQuilt Go. I'm assuming that Joe Carmel came in here, but I'm not seeing. I put all messages, but it's only showing me top messages again. And I did that when I first came in here. But, you know, it's not working. And Remo says she's making her brother something. I can't see that. And Maddie says, you're busy. Yeah, I have so many things to do. I have to wake up and figure out what I'm going to do. And it's not that I don't want to do orders or anything, but it takes time too. Like I said, Thursday was just all day sending invoices for t-shirts, mailing out the ones that paid and things like that. And then I just got frustrated and just started saying, I mailed out most of them that I knew probably wouldn't pay on PayPal. So those were the ones that got ordered, and I still got 1 or 2 in PayPal that needs to be paid. And if you know you paid via another mechanism, PayPal, because once I create the invoice, I got to go back in there, and I haven't been to the desktop yet. I need to go in and cancel those invoices since you paid some other way. Otherwise, PayPal don't know that you paid it. And so, yeah, so it's just a whole nother step process. So I'm up here. I got my retreat list here because that's the things that I'm working on, is getting final things done for retreat. And also, while I'm sitting here looking at it, if anybody wants the ultimate quilt finishing guide, right there by Hargrove. I have them for sale, $24.95, and that includes your shipping. By the time I ship them, I really don't make any money off of, a whole lot of money off of the books, just a few dollars. But I do include the shipping on those. Delia says she just got her book nerd pattern, so that's cool. Oh, the book nerd. Remo is making the book nerd pattern. I guess that's what she was saying. Okay. So, I am doing my African Take 5 African Shuffle, which is a Take 5 pattern, because you only have 5 pieces. That's why it's called that. I don't know. I don't think I have any kits available or in stock. Now, you go in there and order a kit or two, I probably will stop what I'm doing and cut a kit. But I am working on this in the event that the person that wants to buy my Take 5 quilt is serious. I have a second option for them, because I've decided, I thought I was going to sell mine, but I go, okay, you've used this one to make your quilt pattern, and I use it for teaching purposes. It's got all of my YouTube videos. Here's a copy of my, that's about the best you're going to get of my African Take 5 quilt. But I got the YouTube videos out there for people that are interested. But I decided that I just did not want to sell my quilt. It's mine. So I am making something else. And in hopes that they will love it, or otherwise it's okay if you don't. I know I can sell it easily if I want to, and I can most definitely give it away. Now, I just been working on like a couple blocks at a time, because I worked on this at retreat in February as a filler project. I was sewing a block while I was like chain piecing while I was working on other blocks. So I'm just trying to get all the piece blocks off the stack so I don't mess that part up first. So let me do that. I got quite a few blocks done. I didn't know I had that many done. So that's good. It comes 30 blocks. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, did I sew them all? All right. All of these blocks are sewed together. And it's one more. Well, look at God. When you have more done than you think, that's an awesome thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I got 19 blocks already sewed. That is a good thing. And I'm just going to count now to make sure. Yep. So I got 11 more to go. Okay. What I'm going to do is, since I'm sitting here and I'm about to start chain piecing, I'm going to put some numbers on these so I don't mix up these stacks. So let's do that next. All right. So just put some numbers on masking tape, and I'm going to number 2 of the groupings. Just get them ready so I can just stick them on here. So we'll take the big stack, start with it. June says she loves her AccuQuilt Go too. Thomasina's Enos is here. Good evening, all from Delaware. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you commenting with us. So I'm just putting tape on the next section that I will be adding, because I don't have to do the 2 I'm about to sew. This will be the one that's going on next. So I'm getting it ready to go. Oops. I'm actually going to turn that just because, you know, I am. 6, 7. One of those directional prints that it doesn't really matter, but sometimes I'll flip them anyway. 8. This is like Roman numerals, but is that the wrong side? I'm trying to see if the Roman numerals, I don't know what this is. Crazy. 8, 9, 10. I got 11 blocks to sew. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about stacking them back up. It doesn't matter. Then I'm going to take this top one and put numbers on it. Oops. I've already shuffled them so I know that none of the fabrics will touch. And so I'm just handling, putting a little sticker on them so I don't get them out of order and then have blocks where things are touching, the same fabric is touching, because we don't want that. Almost there. You got to do the parts we don't like to do sometimes. Oops. That's why you put stickers on them. 8. Okay. This is 9. 10. Last one is 11. All right. So I'm going to take these 2 that go together, but they get stitched sideways. And then that way, I only need a label on one if I keep the stack right there in order. No mishaps. And let me cut my yarn back on. in the event I want to use them. Sue says, how may I get the book nerd pattern? I think I ordered it one time off of Checkers. I'll see what I can do, Sue. I'm laughing at Bonita talking about her Take 5 kit still in its original packaging. Yeah, I keep saying I want to do it where I put the sashing in here. But she didn't, this person didn't see it with the sashing, don't know anything about that. So I'm just doing it regular. I have one quilt label where it says made by me for me. Right. It's all right. So these are African Ankaras. 95% of them are true Ankaras. Every once in a while I order from a site and they say they're Ankaras. Ankara is like a batik. It should be this very similar. I'm not going to say the same, but very similar on front and back side. And every once in a while I'll get one that has a distinct wrong side. So, but I don't care. It doesn't really matter what side of the fabric you sew. It's kind of like a batik fabric. So I don't have to worry about that. The only time I worry about it is when I turn it over and I'm like, that looked dramatically different, and then I'll switch it to the other side. But this stack doesn't have that in here. But every once in a while it does happen. This is the last one in the stack. Shouldn't take me long to finish these. All right, and then let's sew this other scrap piece on here. So I try to save anything that I can, since I do like string and crumb quilt blocks. And then because I got the numbers on here, it's not so critical if they get out of order. You know? That's where the numbers come in. I can keep them in order, and then all of a sudden something happened, one get out of order, and the whole stack is messed up. And I'm like, I don't want my fabrics touching. So this is just a scrap on that board. All right. I'm just going to press with my little iron, because when I die cut these kits, the fabric is starched very well. We use unconcentrated well, concentrated starch that hasn't been unconcentrated, meaning I haven't added any water. So I make sure, and the batiks are already stiff anyway, so I just add sizing and then go from there. I die cut, so I don't really need a heated iron until I finish my whole block, so we'll see if I use it or not. Sometimes I just do the fast press with my wood iron, which is what I call what's in my hand. You can get these at my website as well for new people that don't know that. They're in different patterns. You can get a matching set with your seam ripper stiletto combo. But I like how I can just press with my wood iron. So that's the front, this is the back. It's just enough to give it memory. And so when I add the next piece on, it knows where I want that seam to lay. And I like to use a hard surface, so I came off of my mat. I'm actually using my desk. Whoops, I got two. Uh-oh. I heard something fall by my husband. They wondering what's uh-oh. All right. So now I'm gonna sew so I've got number on this set like this. I just showed it to you. I only got one number. Now I have the other set where I put the second set of numbers, and now I match those up so I know that they're in the right space. So I'm just reversing my numbers so I can do that. And take this stack that I didn't make back neat because I knew I was going to be using it very soon. So I'm going to sew these two pieces together. When you sew these two pieces together, it should equal what the size of your large block is. Lana Dean is here. Welcome, welcome. I don't know if I said it or not, just making sure. Lizette says, I have to borrow that label idea from Darcy. Darcy is saying that we need more thumbs up. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please go hit the thumbs up button for me, please. Ellen says, I still have my two kits I purchased from you to sew. I just can't grab. I can't grab a striping color to use. So Joe Cormel's in here now. So somebody must have seen her earlier because they was hollering, hey, Joe. Linda Williams is here. Says, I have two of my grandsons for a long weekend. We're having a blast making pillowcases. I will notify you when I ship them. Enjoy. So that's cool. Cool all around. Doing a craft project with them. I was talking to my friend who's an OT, and she says that she has her student. She's she's an OT instructor, and she says she has her students do county cross stitch, and she says they hate her for it by the end of the semester. But she says it teaches them so many skills, and so that's what I think, like, you know, with home ec, especially not being taught in schools nowadays, everybody needs a little bit of home ec. So that's cool. I even did it for my daughter because they didn't have it in school. She made her first quilt But at least she know the process. And when I give her something, she knows, or when you all give her stuff, because a lot of you all gave her stuff for Jersey that was handmade. She knows and appreciates the value of something being handmade. So, because otherwise they don't even fully understand. But if they go through that process, they know. Deborah says, I had 2 of the Take 5 kits. I only used 1. The other's still in the pack. Make it up, girl. Make it different than the other one. Because I remember seeing them when people got them, posting them on our Facebook group. They were really interesting, really cute. I think somebody's made it into the pattern. I know I have Kevin's in there and probably somebody else's, because I had to do it the basic way with no sashing, and other people did sashing. So I do want to make this. I have one more kit, but when I showed it to the lady, it didn't have sashing, so I didn't want to do it on this. Because I think she likes all the African fabrics together, which my quilt is beautiful with all of them right up together. And so that's what I'm doing for her as well. And I'll probably end up using the same fabrics. Even if this quilt doesn't read purple, I think she liked that purple fabric. That's what I really think she likes, was the purple fabric. But I had bought that by the boat. So there are some boats I have because I would sell stuff at vending fairs. So I still got that fabric. So I'll probably just pull it whether it's the best fabric or not, because I think she liked the purple. So sometimes you use people's favorite color and they fall in love with something. So now I think my quilt had 36 blocks, but this one's just going to have 30. I had an extra row, but this one will not have an extra row. The other kit I have is like all the leftover stuff. Like when people said a piece was missing out of their kit, which I still haven't figured out how that happens, because I cut the entire kit at the same time. So I don't know how that happened on my end. But I've like taken, like if they were missing one of the squares, I'd give them a square, mail that off so that they could finish their kit. But yeah. I have nothing here to chain on. Well, I got these now, huh? The other sides. I forgot about those. The other side. So let's do that, because we can. Not because we need to. Oh, I didn't even sort these out, did I? It'll be all right. I sewed the same thing together, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that either. It's just extra fabric that would have normally been in the trash. I have to let go. 2, 3. Okay. All right. Good thing is I'm gonna cook something to eat, but it's already cooked. I had fish I made yesterday, so I'm just gonna reheat it in the air fryer. I just gotta figure out a side, some kind of side to go with it, so I don't have to worry about that tonight. Worrying about what I'm gonna eat. All right, so now I have 2 labels on here. Let me press this one and then I'll show you. And I'm going to take one label off because I'm going to put them on the next stuff I'm going to sew. So that's how I'm keeping track of what has a label and I mean what on my order. So now I've got the two, you can see 11 right here and then 11 over here. So I'm going to take one of these numbers off. Probably the one on the small square, and just put it on my machine up here. And I am pressing with the iron just because they're a little bit bigger when I normally would take this, if I'm gonna do this, back to some place where I have more area on my big board or something. But since I'm here live, I can't do that. And then while I'm pressing, I may as well remove that sticker that I'm gonna use on the next two pieces I'm about to sew together. So I'll have them off because I don't need two on there now. Good night, Vivian. Thumbs up. Step out, step back in to show your love and support. That's from Remo. Thank you, ma'am. Janet says, don't laugh at Bonita. My kit is still impact receive, but I do have one. Right. So when you're ready to make it, you're ready to go. I do want to do one with the sashing. I've done it without being African print, but I haven't done it with African print. So I got one kit, like I said, with all the leftover pieces. I don't even know how many blocks I can make, but, you know, I got plenty of scraps I can fill in if I need to. Not plenty, but I got some scraps because I've been using scraps to make some of my projects like Dresden Village. Uh-oh, I didn't take off number 8. Second sticker. But it's right there. And then here's number 7. I'm up here looking to see what I'm spying on my husband. See what he doing outside. I think he's just taking trash out. Because it keeps going off. Okay, that's 7. Hi, Linda Gray. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you commenting. Darcy says, some people don't understand handmade stuff, even if it doesn't look perfect. Just think about the fact that someone cares enough about you to have it done. Yes. I'm the only person that I'm aware of in my family that's like sewing. I probably had a niece that was making quilts. She made a few quilts by herself. So they weren't like the same level of quilt, but the fact that she made them was really interesting, and she did them all by herself, you know. But my sister sewed when I was growing up. So she made she had 3 girls, and then my mom No, because it was just two of her girls. She had three girls. She has three girls. But the two oldest ones were in between me and my two sisters. And so she was making 5 matching outfits. Honey, you couldn't tell us nothing. She would have like some kind of multi-print, and then everybody had a different color. She was dressing us alike, even though we weren't, you know, quintuplets, I guess. But we were dressed alike. Couldn't tell us nothing. And then on Easter, she was also decking us out. She didn't make our Easter outfits, but we had those, the traditional fluffy, layered Easter dresses. Yeah, with the little bobby socks or lace stockings with the shoes. She was not playing here. And she did that for every kid, male or female. She was the Easter person, okay? You were in the family, you were going to have some nice Easter photos. I put some of them up sometimes on Facebook, messing with my family members. I do put some of them up. They get a kick out of seeing them after they haven't thought about them in years. So on their birthdays, instead of putting up a current picture, I put up one of their old pictures. Some of them love me and some of them hate me. All right, so now I got this one that I'm going to put these numbers on that I just took off. So now we're numbering the next part. All right. Yeah, I just found 2 fabrics at the bottom that listed as Ancaras, but they're not the same. It's very dull, like a wrong side of fabric on those last 2. So I did find 2. But when I cut the kits, I make sure I cut everything right side up if it is a wrong side. Otherwise, I don't worry about it. $9.23. I'm just trying to keep track of time to see if I'm gonna, how close I can get to getting these done. All right, and then pull these back and get to sewing. Yep, should easily get these 11 blocks done. Good night, June. Thank you for popping in. No, I don't, Leetta. I don't have any scrap bags. I have not cut any kits in a while. So when I'm saying scraps, I started with like fat quarter bundles. When I make fat quarter bundles, they're 30 fat quarters in a bundle, but I may have cut 45 because sometimes I might have 2 yards of one fabric, 3 yards of another, 1 yard of this. So every time I cut a fabric, I would give myself 1 fat quarter. And then when I'm making the quilt tops or making projects, then I start using those fat quarters. So as I'm cutting into them, I've kind of made my own scraps from working on projects and things like that. But I don't have any actual official scrap bags. I just have my scraps right now. And I get them to the point where when they turn into strings, then I can make like string pieces. I've been doing that. I've been doing that with batik fabrics as well, sewing certain strings. So that's what this board back here is. It's like my catch-all to stuff that I'm working on. I got this up here so I don't forget about it, but I haven't sewed on it. So I use my scraps and I'll start cutting whatever I can cut, especially when I get to real tiny pieces like that. Yeah, I just cut whatever I can. So I throw the bare minimum of my African prints away because I try to find something that I can cut out of them instead of pitching it. And I'm doing the same thing apparently with this Tula stuff. I'm just sewing these little wedge units because I had to sew the angles for the book covers and stuff. So I am just using those, whatever left over from those angles, and I'm going, well, I've got a lot of these angles. This was only 2 blocks. I got a lot of these angles. If I was making a whole quilt, I would have even more. And I don't like throwing away a lot of fabric. So I'm just cutting that. And I'm going to figure out how to use that in my quilt. I've already made a stringer. No, I made a crumb block. So I'm going to end up using some of these in my quilt as well. I just like strings and crumb blocks. It's just one of my mindless sewing things that end up making beautiful quilts. We're almost done. I got 3 more of this section to sew. Then we press this. And sew top and bottom together, and we're done. Sort of, kind of. The blocks are done, which is my goal. But I did not realize that I had so many of them done, so I'm really happy. So we'll finish this probably before we leave for sure. And I'll just chat at that point. Okay. Get these pressed. Okay. And again, I don't have to. Hey, Phyllis G, welcome to the chat. Trying to make sure. Kevin says he just finished cutting 1,080 2-inch finish half square triangles. Yep. And it doesn't take as long as if you were doing it any other method than using that die cutting machine. The hardest part is keeping track of the numbers. All right. So now I got to reverse my numbers. This over here like that. My cardboard is now empty. Can be recycled. Well, I'll probably put them back on there for right now though. All right, so we're just sewing these two pieces together and making our block. I never get down to the bottom. Is that a purple Panasonic that you're using? Yes, it is. Oh, she was saying I'd go ahead and make it and list it. I'm sure somebody will buy it. Sometimes, as quilters, sometimes you don't sell stuff sometimes because somebody will appreciate it. And sometimes we just give it to them sometimes. I don't know if that's where this project is going, but at least I'll have it. I can make that decision when I get it done. Or if I get it done. It's a process to get it done too. So I'm trying to sew on it whenever I think about it or whenever I can. So I had started it in February, but haven't had a chance to sew on it because I'm working on my happy place. But I need a break from that just because I'm doing it the hard route because I'm not doing all of her blocks. So I'm having to substitute a lot of things. So I was so happy when I saw the book nerd. I go, oh, I can do that, cut that out and test that machine with it. Because all I had sewed up to then was just strings and crumbs, test sewing. But I wanted to sew something on it to make sure everything was working right. So that's what I did yesterday because I wanted to either take it to the shop or put it up. I got it in the case. I just now need to get it into my car because I think I am going to take it to the shop. I didn't want to, but I think with the button sticking, I want them to fix that. So I'm just going to take it in. See, it don't take long at all to sew these blocks if you put the tape on it. number your stuff up, and then you don't have to worry about the order. Because if I had not put tape on here, believe you me, I would have had these blocks all out of order and they would have been a hot mess. Because I put tape on here, they went fine. They went through here just fine. Nothing ever got out of order. But that's Maslow's law. And I don't know, I guess I be, you know, some days we have hot days here, some days we have cold. Now I'm hot. My ceiling fan is on low. I normally have it on medium. I must have cut it down. Got a long line of stuff here. I got 2 more blocks to sew right now, and then we're done. I'll say for right now. I got 2 more blocks to sew. I don't vibrated the ticket box. All of these, over 100 is on my floor. I vibrated it off of my ruler rack. Oh my goodness. We were talking about birthdays today. I didn't realize some of the people in my group had some high numbers on their age. And there was one point where I wasn't the youngest one in our group. And come to find out, now I'm back to being the youngest in our group. And in my small Gil group. So that was pretty interesting. I'll be 60 this year on my birthday. And I told him, I said, you know, I've been thinking about it for a whole, you know, since I turned 59. Thinking, you know, should I plan myself a party? But I think I got burned out when I planned my mother's party for her 85th birthday last year. And I just haven't done anything. I have too many things to do to be worried about that. So I haven't done a thing. And I'm sure when my birthday comes, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed that I didn't. But right now, I'm okay. Everything costs so much more money, too. Although I spent a good chunk of change when at age 50, I retired from my job and I was 50. So I threw a joint retirement birthday party for myself. And I spent quite a chunk of change on that, too. So sometimes you just do what you do. Okay, so I'm going to get my board back out so my blocks don't fall on the floor as I'm pressing them. And then I'm going to take all these stickers off because I don't like leaving masking tape on quilt fabric because it gets sticky. So let's put this back so I have something for them to sit on. Press this one. I don't know if my iron was on. I think it had just cut off. Yep. It had just cut off when I picked it up. All right. So that's all we got to do. I'm just going to press this final seam and take the tape off. And I know for a fact that all of my block units don't have duplicate fabrics. I could have put some water in here too. I did not. I don't really need it, but hey, it's right here. Final press for right now. I gotta now lay out all 30 blocks. So I can Lay out all 30 blocks so I can spread them around. Spread out my prints. And I'll just show you one block. They're all the same, just 5 pieces of fabric. But they're all the same with different fabrics in each position. I don't seem like I can get to the bottom of chat, guys. Hi, Joanne Lucas. Welcome to the chat. Good night, Ellen. Lana says she's cooking her vegetables for Sunday. So she'll be up to until 11 p.m. Tomorrow we got Scrap Quilting Club Zoom meeting. If you are a member, you already have the link. So don't forget about that tomorrow. I heard from at least one person saying they couldn't make it. But yeah. I'll be cutting because I haven't cut a thing. I'm going to try to cut tomorrow, but we'll see how far that goes. See if something else comes up, or, you know, I still got to take that long arm loose. I need to get it apart so that I can send my old system back to Quilt Easy so that they can have that. And I didn't pay for 2 systems, so I need to send that one back. Fully pay for that. This is number 6 I just finished, so we're getting there. So, yay! Teaquilts was able to finish something on a live. Ain't that a miracle? I finished the goal. Finished off the book blocks and piece these remaining take 5 block. Next time I do this, I'm doing a sashing in between. That's what I said last time, but it really is because I'm not doing this again. I hate making the exact same quilt again, but sometimes you have to for customers, or if I pick a particular, like somebody wanted brightly, I don't want to make brightly again. I'm going to like charge really high if somebody asks me to make brightly again. So they'll really pay for it because I don't want to do it. This one is not so bad to do again, especially if the fabrics are pretty. And they don't have to be African prints. They can be any prints too, so. But I am going to make this again in African prints with the sashing. I got my other kit put aside just for that reason. It's block number 9, so we only got 2 more to press. Isn't that so pretty? All those vibrant colors. Just gorgeous. And then we put all these blocks back together. I just need to lay them all out now so that I can balance the prints. And I'm done. I can cut this iron off up right there for right now. Get the power strip when I leave. And that is it for that. So put them back on the board. This is the other stack I've done. And put them all back in the bag so I don't lose them, because I have been known to lose stuff that's not properly packaged back up when I'm done. So I don't have to worry about having 29 instead of 30 blocks. Okay. Yay! One step completed. First step was already done because they're pre-cut kits. So I didn't even have to cut. So that was awesome. And so now I've got step number 2 done. Sew all the blocks together. Linda says she's 62 now. I've been telling my kids that I want them to plan me a 65th birthday party. And it's so funny because my daughter always start out trying, like she told me, oh, don't worry about your 50th birthday. I'll pay for it. It's like, girl, you don't even understand how much a party costs. I ended up paying a good chunk of it. She did a lot, but she couldn't have paid for that all by herself. You know, when you got to have a group of kids. I got one. I have a stepdaughter as well. T, can you show your earrings? These are the earrings that I've been showing you all that are made of clay. I can't read her company name on the back, but I did tell her, because at first she wasn't adding a little piece on the back telling you, making sure that they were hers and somebody could copy her stuff, but at least she had her name on her original, so she started doing that. But I can't even read what it says, and right now I can't think of the name of the company. Ain't that crazy? I can't think of it right now. But I'll take one of them off and show it to you. I'm trying to get this. I just messed up the front. So this is a clay earring, and she does them to mock either quilt blocks or whole entire quilts. So this right here to me looked like it could be a modern quilt. I have them where she's got, I don't know if they're 9 patches. She has like baubles that kind of swirl around. Look like they could be pieces hanging off of a chandelier. And those are actually my favorite, but because they're so intricate. But I do like these because I can wear, they pull the color more. She does a lot of, well, she has a lot of colors, but I like a lot of her black with color, because then it pops the color that you're pulling out, that you're actually wearing. But right now I'm just blocking the name of her company. I had actually bought 2 pair. Well, I bought a pair and she donated a pair. So she donated a pair last year to door prize for a quilt retreat, and I ended up I had 3 prizes. So I had the pair that she donated, and then I had the pair that I purchased from her, and then I also purchased, a lot of people had liked the music earrings where I have a treble clef. Treble in one ear, the clef in the other. The treble, no, one was just a treble clef, and one was just a music note. I'm mixing it up. One was a music note. So they weren't matching earrings, and so I actually donated. I bought a pair of those. This lady in China makes those. And so I ended up this was the raffle for you wearing a shirt that has Teaquilts on it every day. Every day you wore that shirt, your name was put into a drawing. And then at the end, I had 3 winners that I pulled out. And so each winner happened to be females. The guys were not happy that I had earrings. I'm like, what am I going to do with some earrings? You'll be all right. Well, they didn't win, so I didn't have to worry about them. But every person that won that drawing had a pair of earrings. So I thought, that was nice. 2 of them were craft related, but a whole lot of people love music. I can't imagine that there are many people that don't like music, that there isn't some song that just make you happy. So that was one of the reasons why I did that. I'm sure Steffi already has your birthday plans in the making. I don't know. I'm not really, I've done more birthday celebrations because of YouTube and just making it a fun day. As you all know, on my birthday, the past few birthdays, I have been giving stuff away. And I'm not really a birthday person. I wasn't as a kid either. I went to some birthday parties and really didn't like, kids are sometimes mean. And so I'm like, I shouldn't have to go through that on my birthday. My mom would ask me if I want a birthday party. I go, nope. So I wasn't a big, huge birthday fan as a kid. I can appreciate them more as an adult, in that, I can kind of control the narrative in a way. If I don't like something going on, I can, ask you to leave. But as a kid, you don't fully understand that. So, yeah. Old Kevin, the quilter, will take Miss T to a quilt shop for her 60th birthday. Won't let her buy one 2.5-inch square of fabric. And that's what I tell him. He's so mad when we go shop hopping, talking about, can I buy him something? I said, sure, I'll get you a 2.5-inch square of fabric. So he just throwing it back out there. He'll be all right, though. Darcy says she goes to Buffalo Wild Wings for her birthday every year. The place is expensive, but I love it. I haven't been there in a long time. I went on a road trip, and then we have, is it Wingstop? I think it's called, we got a Wingstop that's close, but not a Buffalo Wild Wings. So I tend to go there every now and then. But yeah, they're a lot bigger than Wingstop. Carissa says she's not really celebrated her birthday ever. Maybe when I'm over 50, we will start. That was my mom when it was like some off year. Like, I'm just going to throw a number out here because it wasn't like I was 25. I just say I was 28. And my mom decided that she was going to have a birthday party. And my birthday's in the summer, so she had rented tents and had tents outside. She has a huge yard, and she had all these tents and tables and all this food. It was really nice, but I'm like, why are you throwing me a 28th or whatever birthday party? And she go, because I just felt like you never had a birthday as a kid, and so she just wanted to make sure that I had a birthday party. It's like, I could care less about a birthday, but I enjoyed it at 28. So, and then I didn't have another birthday party until, like I said, when I retired at age 50, but I was celebrating retirement and birthday. I had people from work there. I had a section for work people. I had photo book of all the stuff that had kind of occurred at work, so that they had entertainment. I had line dance people. We played line dance music, so they were entertained. And then I put just one quilt on a stand that people could use as a backdrop, but the quilters also could appreciate the quilt. So I had that hanging on a stand. And then I had a photo booth with all kinds of crazy stuff. So I figured like you can entertain yourself in this room. So yeah. But yeah, so I had like 3 distinct crowds from different phases of my life all in one room trying to figure out how to make everybody happy. So, but yeah. Maddie says, I like that block. Thank you. Sue says, I think you would get at least 2. 2.5-inch squares. Yeah. He's cheap. He's trying to imitate me. He's mad because that's what I told him. Thank you, Carissa and Delilah and Darcy and Remo. And Kevin talking about, it's a miracle. Look at God. Talking about I got him done. Right. I don't normally get stuff done on this live sewing chat because I'm too busy reading the chat, responding, and trying to sew and making a mess. Sometimes I have to pull out my seam ripper. Thank you, Sharon. Sue says she can't make it tomorrow. Carissa says she never makes a pattern twice. That's why she loves free patterns. I love that. I have the Take 5 that I made using African print fabrics. So that's cool. Darcy says, I think I have all of the free patterns from Jordan Fabrics printed out. I don't think they're going to take them down, but because the family is committed, I think the thing with us, like when Nancy passed, if you don't have anybody in your family that shares that interest and it's kind of hard, they got the Nancy Zeman site that they own, but a PBS for the most part probably. I think Nancy must have done some deal with them because her family, they still have videos on the Nancy Zeman site too. But I think for the most part, the family wasn't interested in keeping the business alive. I think the Jordan family, they're just in healing mode, but I have a strong suspicion that they're going to try to keep it alive. And I don't know if that means somebody else is going to be doing videos or what, but I feel like we haven't heard or seen the last video from them forever. So I think they just got to figure that part out, even if they hire somebody to do videos, but they've got to have very similar teaching style. And then we as quilters, if they decide to do that, need to have grace, because sometimes we come at, and it's not even just, I think people don't think sometimes, and we type some crazy stuff into chat boxes without thinking how it's affecting the people that you're sending that message to. So we need to learn how to have some grace as well. Minnie says she's done the same thing. Linda has 3 kids. The boy is in the Air Force. The oldest is a nurse. They can handle it. Right. I love the color of your t-shirt tee. Thank you. I like bright colors for the most part. I do. I look better. I think I'm more, the opposite sex likes me in pastels, but I like bright colors. I do wear, well, I used to not like gray and black, but I ended up starting to like gray and black. I just tolerate. It's just not something that I feel like it does a whole lot of enhancement. It just makes you look smaller, but other than that, it's not very enhancing. So I've been wearing it because it makes you look smaller. But I do like black and gray because they can kind of go with anything in that way. Those beautiful blocks. Thank you, Michelle. Darcy has a boy. He's in college. I have 2 boys, 1 girl. Boyfriend has 2 girls and 1 boy. That's funny. Yes. As you said, the Brady Bunch. 30 and 60 was the best. That's Remo. You know, I was, as a kid, I felt like when I was like 18, I felt like at 30, that was old at the time. And then when I turned 30, it was like it was no big deal. I didn't even celebrate it or do anything. Just 30 came and left, okay? Especially since my mom had just threw an odd year birthday party for me. I'm like, no need in celebrating that. So, and I didn't even care about 40. I was living life. Life was life. And, you know, my daughter has always been involved in everything. And so everything takes fees and uniforms and travel and equipment. Because she was mostly, she did other stuff. She did sports as well. But my daughter played 3 different instruments. She played violin, the clarinet, and the saxophone, a tenor saxophone, which is unusual for a female. Plus, my daughter grew up asthmatic. She still has some issues with it, but it's more sinus related now as she's growing. So, yeah, but she's always spent my money, okay? All the time. So, I really didn't wasn't even thinking about celebrating 40. I'm trying to figure out, I wanted to make sure I had everything paid and done for by the time I was 50 so I could retire without any debt or any, owing anybody anything and having all my major things paid for. That was my goal at 40. I could care less about celebrating a 40th birthday. I'm trying to retire. So, I was planning for my retirement like so many years in advance, trying to make sure that things were right. So when I did retire, I wouldn't be stressed about money. Oh my God, Sue said, since my birthday is a week before Christmas, I'm usually working my butt off, then too exhausted to do anything when I get home. And I never took off from work like for my birthday and stuff. If I wasn't doing anything special, my birthday was on a Wednesday, I'd go to work. It didn't make any difference to me. I could care less. So, Carissa says she had a 5th birthday party and that's it. Oh my goodness. Good night, Delilah. Are we going to be getting off of here? It's 10:02. I'm at the bottom of the chat almost. Good night, Lana. Lana. I'm sorry, Lana. Carissa says, I think you're right, T. Her husband has made a couple quilts videos. Maybe he will continue to do so. And I think it's going to be great in her honor to keep it alive as well. Thank you, Joe Carmel says, very pretty blogs. Linda says, I have never had a birthday party. Girl, you got to have one. They are fun. And I think they're better as an adult as compared to being a child. Because I think you can appreciate it a little bit more. And especially the older you get. Like, my mom hadn't had a birthday party since she was 50. We threw her 50th birthday party. And then, just life keeps happening. And then my cousin's birthday and my mom's birthday, they would be the same weekend to celebrate. And my cousin was celebrating almost every year. So she'd have her stuff planned way like months ahead. And so when I did my mom's 85th, I made sure that I had that date, saved the date out like 9 months early for my mom's party. So my cousin wouldn't use it, so that she could pick either the weekend before or after, so she wouldn't pick, because my mom's birthday was actually on the day of the party, happened to be on a Saturday. So that was another reason why we hadn't really fully celebrated my mom. And then look up my aunt her sister had celebrated her 75th birthday when we were going to do my mom's. And then we felt like people were coming into town too quick because they're a little over a year and a half apart or something like that. So we had a lot of occurrences where, things come in threes, where you have deaths and weddings, things like that. And so then the 75th birthday party, and we felt like that was too many times for out of town people to come to a party. So, and for my mom's and my aunt's party, we invite their siblings who live in Detroit area, suburbs of Detroit, and Alabama, and South Carolina, not North. I have a cousin that's in North Carolina, so I guess it is North Carolina and South Carolina. Alabama. think that's it. And then it's a whole slew of us here in the St. Louis area. So Shelly S5 says, are you following a pattern for the blocks you made, T? I'm sure you already answered this question, but I missed it. Yes, I do have a pattern. It's called the African Shuffle. On my website, you can buy a kit, or you can just buy the pattern by itself. The kit comes with everything pre-cut, and then the pattern instructions start with showing you what the shuffle is. And then you got different ways that you can put this together as well. But I have a pattern online. I also have some YouTube videos showing how I pieced each section of my pattern as well. So you also have video sew-alongs with it as well. Hi, Sue Ellen. Jester Creative Space says you're about to sign off and I just got here. Girl, I'm about to go eat. I ate lunch today, but that was my only meal today. What did we have for lunch? Chicken salad from Sam's and salad on a crescent roll. So that's what I had. So I'm ready to eat now. I'm going to go put that fish in the air fryer. I was to try her video of quilt tie. Or quilt tying, I guess. That's one of my least, if you're talking about quilt tying, like 3 layers, that's my least favorite thing to do, even though it's fast. I just don't like it, and it's not fun. When we do it at the Quilt Guild, I just sit there and talk to people. I go to the meeting, so it's not like I didn't show up because it's charity month. But I make a whole quilt before I tie a quilt, okay? It's crazy. Sue says, no birthday party here. My birthday is Christmas Eve. Oh my gosh, child. Woo! And I had some acquaintances, not necessarily friends, when I was working and stuff, whose birthday was on Christmas. But they made sure that they had their birthday presents and their Christmas presents wrapped separately. So I can understand. You probably was never going to get a birthday party by itself. CJR Creations is saying good night to everybody. See you on Wednesday. You're welcome, Shelly. And my website is just www.teaquilts.com if anybody is interested. All of that stuff is always in the description box below as well. I try to make sure that it's there for everybody. And Linda says, I don't like tying quilts either. Did one with my grandmother. Yeah, I did quite a few. I done one by myself. I've used tables. I've used the floor. It don't matter. I just don't like it. I don't like the end result. I don't like the process. And I feel like the amount of, if it's just plain squares, maybe it's the effort is worth it. I haven't seen too many tie quilts that I just fell in love with. I think sometimes they take away from the work, especially if it's more intricate. I think if you're tying a quilt, just squares and then going through the intersecting squares probably is the prettiest way of using ties, my opinion. Cheryl, Darcy is reminding you all to hit that thumbs up button before you leave. Cheryl and my brother are saying good night to everybody. Thank you, Sue. She just put my website in there, www.teaquilts.com. Very easy to remember, just the name of my channel. And that's going to be it. I'm going to go and get me something to eat, and then I'm probably going to chill because I'm still having issues with my foot that was hurting from standing 15 straight hours, stressed out about a quilt. So I still have some issues with that. So I'm going to go prop my little self in bed, watch probably some YouTube videos, and I will see you all Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for 1 hour live chat. Don't have an agenda yet at this time, but we'll be here even if we're just chatting about whatever, okay? If you need anything, you can always email me at teaquilts@teaquilts.com, t@teaquilts.com, or teaquilts@yahoo.com, okay? They all work. I can receive. You may not get a response back, but at least I can see it, and if I feel like it's super important, then I can address it on live too as well. All right? So I'll see you all then. You all stay blessed. Be safe, everyone, and quilt out. Bye-bye.